Hello bitches, I am Queen Bee and welcome back to my channel. Today we have yet another draft analysis. Week 2 for PDL should be coming soon, so be aware of that. So yeah, I am indeed Queen and I will be your coach for the Tokyo Natus, the team where women rule the empire and men can go suck a fat cock. This league is quite different than the average tiered league, but we won't get into that stuff, because that's irrelevant. Before we get into this, let's talk about sniped Pokemon here, because there was a lot. We lost Kartana, who was supposed to be in Celesteela's spot. We also lost Volcanion, who was supposed to be in Hydreigon's spot. Volcanian's backup, Goodra, also was supposed to be in Hydreigon's spot. We lost Crobat, who was meant to be in Uxie's spot. Piloswine and Claydol in Roselia's spot. And lastly, we lost Aerodactyl, who was meant to be in Minia's spot. Our first member is going to be Paralysis Queen the Celesteela. Somehow I got this on round 2 because someone dropped it in the franchise round for Mega Altaria. Celesteela was an easy Kartana replacement because, well, it's a Celesteela. We all know how good this thing is in League thanks to it having a move pool and stat distribution allows it to almost anything, with the exception of setting and removing hazards, of course. Even though Kartana did provide the speed and raw power I wanted, Celesteela is still a solid all-arounder. Next, we have Sabrina the Hydreigon. It's pronounced as Sabrina, but with a Z instead of an S. The name seemed cute, and I know someone with that name, so I just decided to name it after her since it goes so well with Hydreigon. Hydreigon is the best pseudo to use in League. Fight me, bitch. It has such a wide array of moves and it can clean up games so easily with those moves, and it even has decent enough bulk to live any non-fairy type move. If 90th bulk isn't decent, I don't know what is. Our third member is Ursula the Primarina. Primarina just hits super hard and is a pretty effective mon to use as it helps me fill my DFS core, and it's a mon I've been wanting to use again for quite some time after using it a few months back in a league I used to own. I'm telling you, base 126 special attack with specs under Trick Room makes this thing an entire monster. And of course, I can run Liquid Voice Hyper Voice if there's something that has potential to run sub. Our fourth mon will be Helen the UXIE. UXIE was originally an Incineroar, but I made an FA during the grace period, as most people like to call it. The main reason why I got this thing was for rocks. Turns out it's surprisingly fast too, base 95 speed. Not too fast, but way faster than what my team was at first. Speaking of how slow my team is, it's still kind of slow, but that's why I have UXIE as one of my 2 Trick Room setters. And now I feel like I can actually run it since I have fast mons to use when I can't have it up. It also gives me heal bell support, which my team kind of needs. It doesn't really like status at all. I'm sure this thing will be coming to a lot of matches because of how much support it gives my team. I'm glad it somehow managed to stay. Next, we have Electria the Vikavolt. For a Trick Room team, this thing is a fucking monster. Only the super fat mons are gonna make this little bug cry. Otherwise, Vikavolt is fucking up everyone and everything, whether it's in Trick Room or with agility. Although its move pool isn't very wide, it still hits like a truck and has the moves it needs to make up for the things it's weak to. For the rock types at least, it gets Flash Cannon. And that could allow the fat fairies to die easier, specifically Florge. I can't wait to abuse the shit out of this cute little bug. And for our tier 5, we have Rapidash. This was actually Golbat, but I figured my hazard removal was fine, so I just decided to get Rapidash instead. This is basically my Incineroar replacement. Rapidash is such an underrated fire type, I'm telling you. It has so many moves it can use, and, dare I say this, it's better than Pyroar as a tier 5 fire. Like, way better. Pyroar gets like, stab, and dark pulse and that's it from what I know. It does get work up too, I guess, and that's something Rapidash can't do. But Rapidash is fucking greater than Pyroar. Fight me, bitch. Rapidash gonna smack that Pyroar with high horsepower. For our Mega, I chose Lopunny. This was the first pick overall in my draft, and I'm glad I got it. I had a different plan at first with Mega Banette, but I really wanted to use Lopunny, so maybe I'll use Banette next time when I have space for it. Funny how my team wasn't even intended to be Trick Room with the original Mega Lopunny plan, but I got sniped almost every round, so there's nothing I can do about that. Anyways, Lopunny is probably one of the top 3 best Megas in League. I'd only say Altaria and Alakazam are better than it, excluding usually banned Mons. And yes, that includes the Damlatis and Mawile before you ask. Now stop typing that comment before I get big mad. Lopunny really only needs like 7 moves: Fake Out, Power Up Punch, High Jump Kick, Return, Elemental Punch. All you need with Lopunny and you can smack every team. So now we move on to our 3 Mons. First, we have the Rat Sisters, the Doug Trio. Mostly got it for the trapping, to be honest, so let's move on. Next, we got Etheria the Goethe the Owl. Also mostly got it for the trapping, but hey, at least this bitch can set up Trick Room too. Now let's move on. Next, we have Deborah the Delmise. Most likely, I will pick it as my Z mascot, meaning I get to use Grass and Ghost Z moves on any Mon I want, but I can also use any offensive Z move I want on Delmise too. It's a great Z user as is, so why not? Delmise completes my Fire Water Grass core and also gives me a nice spinner and another good Trick Room abuser. Shit, this thing can even do trapping of its own thanks to Anchor Shot. Gives me triple stab too essentially, so that is very cool. With this thing being my slowest team member, I'm sure it will put in work in Trick Room. Next, we have Galaxia the Minia. I really wanted Aerodactyl, but Minia had to be the Mon I had to pick. Minia is genuinely underrated though. The thing basically gets a free shell smash up, can't be statist when over half health, and when under it hits harder than even Deoxy's attack. Sad how no one took into consideration that it would end up being the best shell smasher in the game and people stuck with boring and ugly Cloyster instead. Fuck Cloyster, Minia fucks the bitch. And our last team member is Baby Primavera the Rosalia. I mostly got her for toxic spikes. She also provides a defensive grass type one can use when Delmise isn't as good of an option. Quite bulky too, even if it does rely a lot on Eviolite, it's definitely fatter than Roserade could ever be. I wish it were faster, like base 75 instead of 65, but it's whatever. I never even batted an eye at this little thing until I realized it officially made poo. Which is quite surprising. I thought it would be outclassed by Frostless and Quillfish. But Rosalia is a nice budget version of them that can provide better defensive capabilities. So I have absolutely zero regrets. Well, that's my team. I should be posting my Week 1 battle very soon, as well as my Week 2 battle for the PDL. Bye bitches.